Hey, so Destiny's getting a sequel, and after many, many DLCs and a really long support effort, which I've got feelings about. But today on the show, we've got Sirian Gaming with us, who actually just got back from the Destiny reveal. He actually went out to Los Angeles. It was Los Angeles, right? Wasn't it, Sirian?
Yeah, Hawthorne, but basically Los
Basically,
Angeles.
yeah, and
Yeah.
he's got some impressions for us, which is gonna be really cool. And I've also got Rum and Apples on the show and Crystal Red Punks as always. Destiny was quite popular. People love it. Let's not beat around that bush. We know that. And now, of course, naturally, a sequel. Now, Activision has a 10-year contract with Bungie. I always kind of laughed because Bungie was under the clutches of Microsoft. They bought themselves out to sort of be indie again. And then right after that, they put together a gigantic publishing contract with Activision. So I'm like out of the frying pan into the fire type of deal. And so we are pretty headfirst into this 10-year contract. We've got Destiny 2 coming, and Sirian Gaming was out. By the way, check the description and the end of the video for his links, and of course his impressions will be down there too. But tell us kind of what your trip was like, and what do you think about the game?
Well, first off, I got there late. I think I got in 20 minutes into the press conference just due to a lift failure. And yeah, I got in the middle of the press conference, watched the rest, and then they just let us go straight into the gameplay. I got to play the campaign mission twice, once on PlayStation 4 and once on PC. The strike once, and I think two Crucible matches.
Nice.
And it's kind of a mixed feeling with it because it's kind of like, as I said in my video, a lot of people said it was a very polished Destiny 1. And I even had someone tell me that if you wouldn't have told them it was Destiny 2, they would have just thought it was DLC.
Oh wow.
But they did make enough changes, but it's almost like, are the changes substantial enough? That's the kind of thing. But at the same time,
Mm,
everything was pretty great too, considering how early the build is also.
okay. Well, they're pretty confident to show it if they're letting
Yeah.
YouTubers go home with footage of it. I don't think anybody's done that in quite a while. Just like, here's this event, come YouTubers, come whoever you are, and let's do it. So I thought that was cool. So was that a common theme at the show and after? Was that it feels like Destiny 1.5?
Well, I think it's kind of mixed between who you talk to because, like I said, there were changes made. It depends on what you look at, whether it be like the subclasses or the game modes or stuff. But at the same time, I feel like they're probably holding stuff back for later events. So
Okay.
it's like we got the glimpse of the changes with this event, but for the most part, I'm pretty sure E3 or something else, they're going to be like, oh, hey, look, here's more details on this. This is new, something like that.
Okay. Yeah, we'll probably have a chance to play it at E3 too, and that will be my time.
Yeah,
Uh,
good luck. I
s-
heard that whenever the Taken King came out, the line was like 3 hours long at
how
E3.
was it pretty packed in there? Was it really busy? Was it
No,
hard to get a handle on it, or?
the hardest thing to get to was the strike, and the only reason for that was it took 30 to 40 minutes to play.
Oh,
So I just sat in line waiting like one group at a time to go. But for the most part, whenever it went to campaign, I don't know, it wasn't like instantly, but it didn't take that long to get to. And in PvP, if you wanted to play that, you could just go. No one wanted to play it. So it wasn't
really?
that bad. Yeah. I'm guessing everyone had the same mindset as me, where it was like, you're going to go in and get destroyed. But for the most part, it wasn't that bad. Just no one wanted to play it.
Gotcha. So and I think that's good news. You said you played the PS4 version and the PC version because after
Yeah.
the show, the news just kept flowing down, and Bungie at first was a bit cagey. At first, I should say, and then here comes the news. Okay, frame rates
Yeah.
and things like that, and of course, PC launch. So there's when it comes to games in general, especially these days, there's a big debate on frame rate. And I, of course, I'm principled on the idea that if it's not a twitchy multiplayer shooter or twitchy multiplayer game, I'm okay with 30. I'll piss and moan about it, but I won't. It won't break the game for me. Uh, but when we get into big competitive games like Call of Duty or Halo or even Destiny, which never got a PC launch for the first iteration. How did you feel playing it and knowing that it's locked at 30 frames? And for PlayStation 4 people, what can they expect? Can they expect more Destiny 1? Because even then, it was comfortable to play. I mean, I didn't have too many complaints with it, other than it was blocked at 30 frames per second. But what was your perception? Did it feel smoother? You had mentioned that there was a lot more polish.
Yeah, and they made a lot of visual updates too, because I think they said that they switched to a new engine and everything was upgraded and whatnot. So it definitely looked better, but you could definitely right away tell that it was at 30. When you switched over to the PC one, which I honestly almost missed because it was in a section way in the back past some hallway, uh, it you could definitely tell the difference.
Okay.
Like at first, my eyes just were like, something's different about the PlayStation 4. Well, not different. It looked the same. And once I got to the PC area, I'm like, oh yeah, it's 30 frames a second. But the PC version looked beautiful. Like I was
Okay.
like, I just wanna keep playing this.
Okay. So there was a clear difference. Were they playing on 4K monitors, or how did it go in the PC version? Because I know there was a lot of people that were excited for the first Destiny to eventually come to PCs, and and Bungie never came out and said, "Well, not happening." Like, they just sort of kept you at arm's length the entire time, saying, "Maybe," when it could still happen. They might just drop a $60 version at E3 saying, on PC, get the entire Destiny 1 experience available on Battle.net right now.
That'd be kind of pointless though with Destiny 2 out.
Would it?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
But
like they're making a
but
new World of Warcraft and you're going back to play the original version. It's like, what's the point?
but I mean, it's viable. I mean, if you look at what they did with, say,
Well, hold
Grand
on,
Theft
Legacy.
Auto
Is it
5.
viable? Well, hold on, Legacy. I disagree. Is it viable? Bungie's biggest problem that's been admitted by the company is that Destiny 1 and Bungie was having a problem fulfilling and giving the players content that people cared about. So making a full version and putting it on PC for Battle.net, I don't know if they would do that when they have Destiny 2 to promote, so people can forget about all the bad press that was about Destiny 1.
Sirian, did they
And
say
move on to
when?
Destiny 1.5.
Do we know
Sorry,
when?
go ahead, Sirian.
When's Destiny
Or
2
Legacy.
coming?
Whoa, wait, there were two questions asked. What happened?
Oh, okay, sorry. Yeah, so because to go back to, is it viable or not?
Yeah.
Is Destiny 2 launching this year, or is it like Q1 next year?
This year, but it might be held back. Like, I don't think it was like confirmed. It was kind of weird. They're like, it could be delayed because they want to get it right, which I understand.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this will be their first, I think their first PC game, right? Was Halo made by Bungie for the PC, or did they like port that to someone else?
Yeah, so good question, because I think the first Halo came to PC, but Gearbox ported it.
Okay. Because yeah, they're like, they want to get it right. So it might be delayed, more than likely delayed, but I'm pretty sure it's going to come out this year. Don't like quote me on that, but there was no like definitive answer.
Yeah, so Rum, you might be right in that idea that it may not be viable for them. I could see if it was coming out next year.
If it came out next year, Destiny on PC would make sense.
Mm-hmm.
At least in the timeline. But, if it's coming out this year, nah.
I got my wires
Even with
crossed
the
on that
delay.
one. Because they're
Yeah.
gonna do that. They're gonna do that same crap that Rockstar does, like say with Grand Theft Auto 5. PC version?
no.
Nah.
Yeah.
We don't know. And then 2 years later, here comes the PC version because your ass is double dipping. Because you're buying it twice, and it happened. It sold a lot of copies. Now, Siri, and the other complaint, and I know it's coming. It's already came and gone. Is that Destiny 2 on PC is going to be exclusive to Battle.net and not on Steam?
Yeah.
What do we say tonight? Let's put this to the group, because I don't know how to feel about this.
Me personally, I have no problem with that because I feel with Battle.net, there's not a lot of games offered on there in the first place. So everybody's very organized and they're very dedicated to the titles they have. Whereas on Steam, I have countless games there. I'll fucking sit there streaming scrolling all day looking for a specific title, and I don't know. It doesn't feel dedicated enough.
You kind of feel like you're
Battle.net
going window shopping when you're looking at your backlog of games.
Yeah, it's like trying to find a receipt for your taxes or something. Yeah, but
Wow.
Battle.net, I feel it works very, very well, and the ability to also have the cross game chat that they have with their other titles available is also awesome. Because let's say you were playing Destiny 2, and I'm playing like Heroes of the Storm, for example. We could talk to each other via text over that, and also Blizzard on Battle.net also has their own voice chat system built in as well. So they have all their bases covered, and Destiny coming into Battle.net is basically going to make it a very unified experience.
And Overwatch is using that platform right now, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Overwatch, okay. Heroes of the Storm, World of Warcraft, Diablo, Hearthstone. Yeah.
So there's going to be some comfy people on that then. And let's be honest. And it's hard to argue against the idea of, because EA already packed its shit and left a long time ago from Steam, because Steam just wants too much money for the copies they sell.
Well, EA, I feel Origin failed. I have Origin. I don't ever use Origin. Origin doesn't get open. The difference between Origin and I think Battle.net is EA had all their stuff on Steam and they decided to take their ball and go home. But people didn't follow them. They're like, all right, fine, fuck you. I don't care. Go. Battle.net was never on Steam. They've always had their own system in place. Actually, they didn't have their own system in place at first. Like, just had their games available. Mm-hmm. You log into your account and that'd be it. Battle.net takes all the Blizzard games they offer, puts it in one system. You never had to log into a game separately, because once you log into Battle.net, it logs you to whatever game you're going into.
Fair. Okay. So Destiny 2, give me a grade, Sirian, so far on your experiences flying out to Hawthorne. That in itself is exciting, and I can't wait to see some firsthand events myself coming in June.
I got an important question that could have factored into your lovely decision making.
Okay.
In Destiny 2. How much reefer did you smoke before you played?
Oh my God.
How high did you get? It's legal there. It's legal.
Yeah,
it's a legitimate question.
Surprisingly, I don't think anyone was.
Really?
Yeah, I know, right? I know, right?
You, sirs?
Oh, wow. That's irrelevant.
Oh man, I'm gonna get into California, and that's gonna be no. It wasn't like that. I was like, whoa.
You would have been so much more hype for Destiny 2. You would have been like, whoa, man, the Guardian subclass. What? You would have been amazed.
Even that's trouble for me now, because seeing that's true, and then in June, and then coming back to Wisconsin where it's not clearly legal. That could be a problem. That could be my
Everybody's
undoing.
got a guy. Everybody's got a guy. Even the people in Destiny's got a guy. Oh my God, I just thought about it. Destiny weed.
Oh my God.
How do you smoke weed in Destiny? Could that be an emoji? Could it be like an emote? Eventually, weed's gonna be legal in everywhere, so it's gonna become normal.
There's a lot of things happening in Destiny, and I'm not sure reefer usage is one of them. We could see
Legacy Zero. There has been THC discovered on an asteroid floating in space. I'm fairly certain we can include weed in Destiny 2.
Well, I don't know. Going into the current United States government climate, reefer on a foreign planet somewhere, maybe not. It probably won't be what gets us there. Now, if there's oil too,
maybe
we'd make the trip.
And here's the thing: there are we're talking about this. I'll say one last thing: there are precious minerals that the first person who successfully gets up there and mines it, they will be a trillionaire. They will be a trillionaire.
So, Sirian, give me your main takeaway from the show. What did you really like about Destiny 2?
If anything, I want to play Destiny 2 again. Like, I guess that's the main takeaway. I was laying down in bed last night and I'm like, man, I wish I could go back and play more Destiny 2.
So it was the general experience then?
Yeah, I guess. But I mean, like, I just want to play the game. It's really good. But I did love Destiny, the original one. So it kind of weighs into it, I guess.
So that's kind of where my complaint gets, because I enjoyed Destiny 2, at least for the PvP side of things. The sort of cooperative or the sort of journey aspect of it I kind of liked, But when I think about Bungie, I think about their multiplayer pedigree, and it's something that I've always enjoyed. But when it came to the positioning of how the content structure worked for Destiny, it was a turnoff for me, because I went to go boot up Destiny just a couple of days ago. And it was about a week ago, actually. And I have not purchased the Rise of Iron. And I didn't know this, because that's how confusing this content structure is for Destiny. And it had a lot of people up in arms when the Taken King came out, too. But I was almost completely locked out of PvP multiplayer. The only thing that I could play was deathmatch at the time. And I lost my shit on Twitter.
That's only a recent thing too, because before Age of Triumph opened up, which I think was just a month ago, if you didn't have Rise of Iron, you could at least play, I think, 3 different modes. So once Age of Triumph came out, I went back in because I didn't have Rise of Iron at the time either. And it was I don't remember what it was called, but it was the one with just vehicles. And that was the only one I could play. And I think it's just like the weekly Crucible playlist you can play at the moment if you don't have it. So yeah, I was in the same boat. I was like, well, I guess now I'm locked out of everything. So I would love for them to not take that stance with Destiny 2, but they've already announced that there's going to be a season pass. So it's like, well, then I guess we're kind of keeping into that same thing, but I guess we're going to have to see.
They may have probably switched the playlist around just to try to squeeze the last few cents out of this game before they release part 2. Get a few people to buy Rise of Iron so they can play with their friends before they release the sequel.
But even then, it almost seems like it's the only game that has a content structure that does that kind of thing. Like, you look back at even just on the old Call of Duties right now. I think Call of Duty, Advanced Warfare, and I think Ghost, I did not buy DLC for. And now I can just go back and play it. Well, Advanced Warfare is dead ass. I think Ghost is too. But before they died, their untimely deaths, I could go in there and play them, and I was not locked out. I couldn't play the maps if I didn't purchase them. But that didn't lock me out of the functionality that I had already paid my $60 for.
Yeah, they just added another filter for you not having the DLC, basically.
I was really crotchety about that, and it kind of put me off Destiny 2 as well, because if that's how, games as a service is already something that has people already on edge anyway. Now, we talked about Ubisoft earlier tonight, about how they're handling games as a service wonderfully with Siege and The Division, and they had, it was what it was. You could buy these contents piecemeal or season pass, whatever. Siege, there is no map. There is no map structure. You get it for free. Overwatch is handling it wonderfully. But then we get to Bungie and Activision when it comes to Destiny. Now you can't help but somebody like me, because, well, then there was folks that agree with me, but then I got kind of grilled on Twitter. It was just like, well, why don't you just spend the extra $20? Well, because I've already put $120 into this game. Like, why?
That's the point. Because I spent a fuckload of money on this shit already. I don't want to spend any more.
Right. And I didn't feel that I should have to buy in another $20 to continue to play the thing I've already spent $120 on already to play. That should be mine. So I'm really interested to see what Destiny 2's content structure looks like. I'm willing to buy in. I am, and I'm going to play the beta. I'm probably going to end up getting hands-on at E3, but it's I'm apprehensive, because as much as I liked the game, I enjoyed it. I'm wondering if they're going to keep going with that. Oh, and by the way, hey, we're going to do this. We're going to change it up a little bit. And by the way, we need $60 more from you because of it, or we need $40 or $20 more from you because of it.
Here's my question: why would they change when everybody's still willing to pony up?
I would question how many people actually know that this is a thing from them. Like, I had no idea. I downloaded it again. I put it on my PS4 Pro. I downloaded it, and I'm like, what's the deal here? Do I need did I forget to update a patch, or nope, I'm good. You have to have Rise of Iron to play this. And I'm like, just the basic ass multiplayer that I already paid for? That's weird.
Yes, it is. It's also fucking shitty. It's a shitty business practice.
I was wondering if my tantrum on Twitter was warranted, and I kept getting aspects from different people, but the people that came back on me were like, "Well, just buy it," and I'm like, "But why? Like, why? I don't understand why that has to be. You need another $20 for me to enjoy what I've already paid for." So it was really backwards. So I'm gonna keep an eye on it because I do like Destiny. But I'm really hoping they change that structure, or at least be more clear on how it is. You know, if you look at something like Siege, or there's a couple other games that when they come out, they put, or Halo 5 does this too, where they just gave like a roadmap to what their content looks like. And here's what we hope that our DLC structure is going to look like in the future, and kind of what we're going to price it. So, anything that you were kind of disappointed with coming away from the show?
That's something I would have to think about. But well, originally I was disappointed at the new weapon structure, but after you get to play it, it's like, okay, I really like that. If anything, kind of how they've simplified the subclasses more than anything, but I feel like that's just something they showed for the show, and it's going to change. And because, like I said, it's probably pre-alpha right now. So once we get into the beta and once we get into E3, it'll probably change. But I guess that would be the first thing I can think off the top of my head, is how simple the subclasses have become.
Okay. So they kind of oversimplified it, because I remember back for Destiny 1, you had like 3 tiers of weapons, and it was kind of weird to wrap my head around it at first, because you have a primary, secondary, and then a tertiary. And
yeah.
And then the tertiary one, the special weapon, you had to. This is kind of what threw me off at first. Is like, why can't I use this? Oh, weapon. The ammo spawns randomly, or with a countdown. That I had to get used to that part. At least in my first couple of weeks with Destiny. So it kind of threw me off. So does it still do that, where you have the special weapon, and every once in a while, kind of like Halo, they just kind of spawn in this weapon, or spawn in the ammo for the weapon you already have?
You have a kinetic and an energy, so kind of the same thing as with Destiny. Well, towards the end, because they stopped having elemental primaries, but they're almost all of the primary and secondary weapons, so you can just kind of switch between those groups. And then they have the power. You spawn with the kinetic and the energy weapon ammo, if I'm remembering correctly, and then you have to get the power ammo. So that's kind of the way the heavy worked.
Okay.
Well, no, it works the way the special ammo worked. So it's a change, but once you get into it and start playing, it's a lot better.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, good. So we can expect Destiny 2 this year, and thanks for stopping by and giving us the impressions on it. That's pretty interesting, and I look forward to getting hands-on with it at E3 if I can get in, because it's open to the public and everybody's going to be there.
Well, we can both grill them on the whole paid content locks you out thing, because that's one thing I wanted to talk to them about. So we can both be there to grill them on that.
Let's do that. We'll good cop, bad cop them. Hopefully, they see
that
this.
sounds fun.
Hey, thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed it, give it a like and subscribe for future content surrounding other games like Destiny, Far Cry, No Man's Sky, and others. And of course, we're available on SoundCloud too now, for those of you that like to go on road trips and random things like that. See ya!